It's Friday, you good people. It's me, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku via the BS3 network. And I am wearing my brand new BS3 shirt. It's official. I'm part of the BS3. I don't know if it's like the rock or whatever, the diamond, but I'm official now. I got my BS3 shirt on, college shirt official. Let's talk some football, some basketball, some sports. But you're watching the lunch break, Throwback Thursday. But it's the Houston Roundball Review takeover of Throwback Thursday, available on Facebook, Twitch, Roku, of course, YouTube, and Musk. Let's get into it. Within the last hour, I'm going to bounce around on this show, this edition of the show. Y'all know how I do it if you're a regular of the Houston Roundball Review or the takeover. Within the last hour, the Houston Cougars men's basketball team announced the signing of 6'6" guard Chase McCarty. 6'6" guard Chase McCarty, top 100 player Chase McCarty. Y'all know, y'all watch the editions of Folks Talking Sports with me and Willie Gibson and teacher Andy Yanez. I referenced Chase McCarty being certain, I was certain that he would sign with the Coogs. It's official today. This is the first. Yesterday was the first day of this fall period for signing the national letter of intent, NLI, not to be confused with NIL. Chase McCarty, 6'6", 200. He's not an elite athlete. He's a basketball player. He gets things done, and it's like Coach Sampson likes to say, he impacts winning. And that's the bottom line. He impacts winning. And I kind of have a comparison so far from what I've heard and seen from Chase in his game. He kind of reminds me of a new addition to the team this year, Damian Dunn. About the same type, height, body build, not elite athletes, but make winning plays and get buckets and get things done on both ends of the floor. So keep that in mind. Coug fans, Miss Wanda, thank you as well. The comments from the two Rocks supporters of the Houston Roundball Review, Miss Wanda Polk and Tony M, support me in all the live stream shows. So thank you very much for the kind words. But yes, Chase McCarty is officially a Coug. And while we're at it, as you're tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook, on Roku via, one more time, the BS3 network, I got my shirt. Go to Roku, download the app for BS3 TV, or just go to bs3network.com because it's live on Roku. Yes, live on Roku. So those companies who want to advertise on this show as well as on the other shows, part of the BS3 family, change the way you watch TV, advertise, hit me up, reach out to me. You can advertise on this show as well as the other shows available on BS3 TV. The Rice Owls, they made news, men's and women's basketball, announced some signings Wednesday, the first day of the fall signing period. Head coach Scott Parra of men's hoops signed 6'3" guard Anthony Batson Jr. And what I like that Coach Parra said about him, Anthony plays defense. I like defense. I like guys who play defense. All right, last year, he's 6'3" guard, currently playing at Notre Dame Prep in Arizona. I always have a kind of a pipeline over there in the state of Arizona with talent. Last year, he upped the Saints to a 23-6 record, averaging 16.5 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and was named the Offensive Player of the Year. But Coach Parra said he's an elite defensive player. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Anthony Batson, welcome to Houston. Welcome to South Maine and the AAC. Women's hoops. Rice women's basketball announced the signing yesterday, Wednesday afternoon, of 2 players. 5'10" guard, getting big in that backcourt for the American Athletic Conference. 5'10" guard. I want to get this right here. Jill Tweehouse, I hope. Jill from Jinx, Oklahoma. Samantha Stovall from years ago is from Jinx. She played at Rice. I'm old. I know this. Rice has some players from Jinx. I think with Samantha Stovall and Michelle Woods, I believe, from the Rice tree. And now Jill Tweehouse joins them. And also Tony M. Miss Wanda, get ready for this one. Also joining the Rice Owls women's basketball program, 6'1", Anaya Alexis. Okay, Alexis. Anaya was first team all-district last year at Side Lakes High School. Area product, Houston area product. Miss Wanda, Tony M, and everybody else watching on Facebook, Twitch, Fire Stick, Roku, Musk. Anaya Alexis choices came down to two schools. Two schools, Tony M and Miss Wanda, two schools. Rice and the University of Houston. You see what's on the screen. You see who she chose. Just putting it out there. Okay, just putting it out there. But back to Jill Tweehouse from Tulsa, Oklahoma in Jenks High School. Averaged 22 points a game last year. 5 boards and 2.3 assists while shooting 53% from the floor. So 6'1" and 5'10" in the backcourt for the Rice Owls women's basketball program. Anaya's coming off, I want to say she's coming off a knee injury, but she is a 4-star recruit. So Rice got a 4-star recruit in women's basketball. Coach Edmonds, Coach Grant, that staff over there at Rice, they're doing big things, getting ready for it to compete in the American. They opened the season this past Monday, November 6th, with I want to recall here, a 70-38 win over HCU to kick off their season, tip off their season. So they're 1-0, and Rice has a game, their second game of the season tonight on the road at Abilene Christian. That should be a pretty good matchup. Abilene Christian Women's Hoops is a solid basketball program, so don't get it twisted. Recap and preview. Are we on talking about Rice? Well, I'm talking about Rice. Rice opened their season men's hoops on Tuesday, election day, with a 101-57 rout of St. Thomas. They counted it as a regular season game. I don't know why it's not an exhibition game, but because St. Thomas is not Division I. But I digress. Men's hoops, the Owls get back in action tomorrow, Friday, November 10th, at home against Harvard. Harvard, 7 p.m. Game can be seen on ESPN+. As I said moments ago, Rice women at Abilene Christian tonight, November 9th, 7 p.m. on the road. That game on ESPN+. Prairie View men's hoops, Prairie View women's hoops. Women's hoops, Coach Pugh's squad start their season tonight, 5:30 p.m. inside the Baby Dome on the Hill against Houston Tillotson. Should be a dub for the Panthers, Pantherettes, Lady Panthers. Men's hoops, Coach Smith opened the season on Monday the 6th against Kansas Community Christian. Won by 23, 89-66. Lost their first road game Wednesday night, November 8th at Seattle, 71-60. Back on the road Friday night as part of the SWAC Pac-12 HBCU Legacy Series at Washington State, 9 p.m. It says ESPN+, but I want to say that's also maybe on the Pac-12 Los Angeles, something like Pac-12 networks as well. But try ESPN+ first. Tony and Ms. Wanda, I think we're going to go to HCU right here. Rough start for both programs. Men's hoops, HCU got routed at BYU on November 6th, 110-63. They're off until next week against Florida International on the 15th. At home, FIU coming to Sharp Gym on the 15th. HCU women's basketball lost at Rice on Monday by 32. I think I remember right, HCU scored a total of 5 points in the first half against Rice on Monday night women's hoops. 1 point in the first quarter, 4 points in the second quarter. So to get to 38, I guess they got the nerves out or whatever in the second half, but by that point, the game was well in hand for Rice. And then HCU next matchup will be in Huntsville at Sam Houston on November 11th at 7 p.m. Men's hoops, UH routed ULM, Louisiana Monroe, Monday, 84-31. It's like the second or third fewest points the Coogs have allowed in men's hoops basketball history. Saturday afternoon, this is all homecoming week. Saturday afternoon, the Coogs host A&M Corpus Christi, 12:30 p.m. Matt Thomas, a Coug alum, will be part of the broadcast crew for that game on ESPN Plus. Friday, November 10th, Air Force women's basketball comes to Fertitta Center to begin the season for both teams. Season opener, I believe it's for Air Force as well. That game, 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. I will be at that game. I will not be at Rice for the Owls Harvard game, men's game, nor will I be watching the Rockets and the Pels. I will be watching UH women's basketball and Air Force women's hoops. Yes, that's where I'll be. By choice. To be clear, by choice. Again, I'm one of the few in media, local media, that covers women's basketball on the collegiate level. Heck, on the pro level as well. But I will be there. And an additional incentive, I am the school representative for the Big 12 regarding Player of the Week award. So I have to know what I'm talking about. So I will be at Fertitta Center on Friday for the Cougs women's hoops opener against Air Force. Miss Wanda, be sure to say hi. I know there are some promotions. I think the first 1,000 fans who attend Friday's game will receive a poster with the schedule. I hope 1,000 folks show up for the game. That'd be nice. That'd be awesome. If 1,000 people or more attended the UH women's basketball game, that's not against UConn, so that would be excellent. So say hi. I doubt it'd be difficult for me to say hi to seek you out in the crowd, but I'll see Miss Wanda on Friday. Both of us will be there, so join us Friday at the place where Tillman built Friday to watch the Cougs women's game against Air Force. I haven't forgot about Texas Southern. No worries there. Get to them. They had a rough start to their season. Both the men's and women's teams lost in the pit against New Mexico. November 6th, men lost 92-55. Women lost 76-59. But the men get a game this Saturday at Arizona State, 2:30 p.m. That game is on Pac-12 Los Angeles. So we can see if Coach Johnny Jones and the Tigers can bounce back and get to 1-1 this season. TSU Lady Tigers, their next game is on the 14th at home against North American. Yes, North American, and that's like a kid's day. It's 11 o'clock in the morning start. So there we go with the basketball, college basketball. Tony M., thank you for this. Tony. Let's talk about it, Tony. Let's talk about the Cougs football team. Homecoming game this Saturday. 6 p.m. start. Game can be seen on FS1 against the, in Big 12 play, winless Cincinnati Bearcats. Tony, you know it. The Cougs came from behind this last Saturday in Waco to defeat the Baylor Bears 25-24 in overtime, as Coach Holgerson went for the win in overtime, and the Bears had no clue how to stop Donovan Smith on a spread set and just let him stroll to the end zone, basically untouched, as Baylor lost and the Cougs won to improve their record. Tony, that win probably guarantees Dana Holgerson will be back next season. So what say you about that? What do you think about that? The Cougs are 4-5 overall, but check this out. Bearcats 2-7, winless in Big 12 play. Winless in Big 12 play, yet the Cougs are just 2-point favorite. Just a 2-point favorite. And it's homecoming, Coug fans. Tony M., Coug alums, Miss Wanda. All mad, I see you. I'm going to get to that comment about Angel Reese and LSU. All mad, listen to this. Cougs homecoming game this Saturday. There are tickets available for as low as $2 on one site, and I believe as low as $1 on another third-party ticket site. Homecoming for the Houston Cougars, football team homecoming. Tickets as low as $1 or $2 for homecoming. That says it all to me, Chris Pesman. That says it all to me, Tillman Fertitta. The Cougs coming off a road win, their first conference win in Big 12 play. Tickets as low as $2. Lower level, $4. Come on. I don't know what y'all are going to do next year. And they're only 2-point favorite over a winless in conference play Cincinnati Bearcat team. Only 2-point favorite. But, Tony, Miss Wanda, the Bearcats are under 500. So based on his track record, his history at UH, Dana Holgorsen will win Saturday. The Cougs good to 5-5. Then they'll face Oklahoma State at home next Saturday, which they won't be favored to win. Be 5-6, most likely. And next Saturday's game against the Cowboys, Oklahoma State, is senior day for the Cougs. But the Cougs will wrap up their regular season play on the road against UCF. So if the Cougs are 5-6 heading into the final game of the regular season at UCF, what's going to happen, Tony? What's going to happen? Will the Cougs finish 6-6? Become bowl eligible? Will that be successful for Chris Pesman? He said, get into a bowl game, 6-6. In first year in the Big 12. Regardless of the fact that the wins that they would have gotten in conference play are over other bad teams in the conference. I think West Virginia is winning, has a winning record in conference play. But what happens? Assuming the Cougs win this Saturday, they'll be 5-5 overall. Next Saturday, they'll be a home underdog against Oklahoma State. Go to 5-6. Allmat says yes, they'll make the bowl. 6-6, Tony. That means he's coming back. 6-6. He's coming back, even though the fans have tuned him out. Allmat, I agree with you. I think you are correct. He will be. Dana Holgorsen will be back. But the fans have tuned him out. Going to talk about college football momentarily, but I want to address this from Allmat tuning in on YouTube. Ask me if I think Angel Reese should have been practicing basketball instead of YouTubing all summer. What's her nickname? She's the Bayou Barbie? Is that right? She's got a lot of company sponsors for her brand. She worked on her game in the offseason. Some. Colorado said, we're a better team than y'all are. Y'all may have more stars and more All-Americans and all these elite transfers, but we're a team that fits. LSU right now struggling to make the pieces fit. Anissa Morrow, transfer from DePaul, is a 4. Angel Reese is a 4. So I'm wondering, Anissa Morrow, she's a back to the basket kind of player, double-double machine at DePaul. This ridiculous number she put up at DePaul. How's she going to fit into this offense at LSU? She's not a perimeter. She's not a great three-point shooter. Neither is Angel Reese. But Coach Kim Mulkey and staff got to make it fit. Got to make it work. Get those pieces together. All that talent. A lot of talent. Transfers. Haley Van Lith, Anissa Morrow, and then the incoming players, freshmen, plus the players coming back, including Angel Reese and Flaugier. Talented team. Reigning champs. But they got smacked in the season opener, though. I think the final score was, 92-78? They gave up 92 points to a good Colorado team. And Colorado will be one of the additions to the Big 12 next year, which I think will make it more difficult and more challenging for UH women's hoops to rise to the middle of conference play next year with Colorado, Utah. Utah this season's top 5, top 7 women's basketball. They're coming to the Big 12. Arizona State's program is turning things around again. Whew. Okay. You are watching the Houston Roundball Review takeover of Throwback Thursday, this lunch break edition. I am KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Thank you to my man Ben. Let me do something real quick here, Ben Sutter, for welcoming me to the family. Going to do this momentarily, see if I can find it here. But of course, I'm still looking for advertisers for the show for my slot on the lunch break. But let me see. Yes, I know what I did. All right. Well, let's see here. Right there. You can see. There it is. You can see the BS3. There it is. BS3 right there. I'm part of the family now. I'm official. Even though I requested, this is a side note, I requested my package to be delivered on the porch. Mail carrier put it in the grass, put it in the yard, man. I mean, you couldn't walk up to the porch, put it on. I mean, so good thing it wasn't stolen. But yeah, it wasn't on the porch as I requested. It was in the yard. So whatever, right by my mailbox, but in the yard, on the ground. But okay, I digress. Got the gifts, got the college shirt, got a t-shirt as well, BS3, got some pins. I'm official. I'm official, part of the BS3 family, BS3 TV, changing the way you watch TV. Get the app on Roku. Get BS3 on Roku. Go to bs3network.com if you do not have Roku. Football. Let's talk some football scheduling. We're going to talk Rockets. See if I can pull up a clip later on in the show. About a half hour left in the show. Comments from Coach Darvin Ham of the Lakers. He had some high praise for the Rockets after last night's Rockets beatdown of the Lakers. 128-94. High praise for the Rockets squad. But AAC football this week 11, November 10th, North Texas. Area rivalry. Well, for the last time probably, for a while anyway. Mean Green 3-6 overall, 1-4 in conference at SMU. SMU 7-2 overall, undefeated in conference play, 5-0. The American has 3 undefeated football teams in conference play. SMU, Tulane, and UTSA. Tulane and UTSA face off in the regular season. SMU, let me stop. Because Tony M. Miss Warner can relate to this, what I'm about to say. SMU is undefeated in conference play, just like Tulane and UTSA. All 3 5-0. SMU does not play Tulane or UTSA. SMU is this year's Houston. Tulane and UTSA are this year's Cincinnati and UCF. Tulane, UTSA, one of those 2 teams will not make it to the conference championship game. SMU will most likely, barring they stub their toe, which they shouldn't. They should be favored the remainder of the conference season. So we know what happened when Houston faced Cincinnati in those situations in conference championship. Just saying, we'll see if the same thing happens in a similar scenario for the AAC football championship on December 2nd. Rest of the schedule in the American. SMU game Friday night on ESPN2, 8 p.m. kickoff. Saturday, November 11th, Tulsa, 3-6 overall, 1-4 in conference at Tulane. Tulane had a struggle last Saturday with only, I think, a 13-10 win over East Carolina. Pirates not very good this year. Tulane struggled, but they got it done. They got the win. It was ugly. The lowest points in a win, and I want to say the stats were like 20, 30 years, something like that. But the game in New Orleans, 11 a.m. Saturday on ESPN2. Temple, 3-6. Coach Drayton, 1-4 in conference play. He's struggling. All those freshmen, he's struggling. At South Florida, South Florida 4-5 overall, 2-3 in conference play. 11 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Memphis is 4-2 in the American, 7-2 overall. Bowl eligible at Charlotte. Charlotte 3-6, 2-6 in conference play. 1 o'clock on ESPN Plus. UAB. Coach Trent Dilfer, 3-6 overall, 2-3 in conference play at Navy. 3-5 overall, 2-3 in conference. That game is on CBS Sports Network, kicking off at 2:30 p.m. Central. East Carolina, 1-8, 1-8 overall, 0-5 in conference at FAU. Coach Tom Herman's FAU squad. FAU, Lowe's, who are they? Yeah, they're 4-5, 3-2 conference. 3 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Last but not least, on ESPNU, again on TV, again on a national network. Linear TV, back-to-back for Rice. Actually, 3 weeks in a row, I think, because they had Tulsa, SMU last week, and now this Saturday at UTSA. Rice 4-5 overall, 2-3 in conference at the Roadrunners. 6-3, 5-0 in the American. 6:30 p.m. on ESPNU. Big 12. All the games, Big 12 games are going to be on this Saturday, Veterans Day. Time to salute and thank our veterans, your veterans, on Saturday, November 11th. First up at 11 a.m. on FS1. Texas Tech, 4-5. Red Raiders, 3-3 in conference at KU. Jayhawks, 7-2 overall, 4-2 in conference play. Baylor, Coach Dave Aranda. If Baylor got enough money, Dave Aranda will be gone at the end of this season. Bears 3-6 overall, 2-4 in conference at K-State. K-State head coach Kleiman, he went for it, and boy, those play calls down the stretch against the Longhorns, they had to beat Longhorns beat, but whatever, they didn't get it done. K-State 4-2 in Big 12 play. 2 o'clock on Big 12 on ESPN Plus. Oklahoma State Cowboys in the driver's seat. 5-1 in conference play at UCF. UCF 1-5 in conference. That game is on ESPN. 2:30 p.m. Central. West Virginia Mountaineers, bowl eligible. Coach Neal said, we're not going to be last this year, I guarantee it. He's right. 6-3 overall. 4-2. That's a bad loss to the Cougars. Well, couldn't stop a Hail Mary. 4-2 in conference at Oklahoma. Sooners 7-2. 4-2. Also 4-2. After losing Bedlam last week to Oklahoma State. That game is 6 p.m. on Fox. And Tony Young's favorite matchup. The Bearcats, 2-7, 0-6 in conference play at the Cougars. 4-5 overall, 2-4 in conference. 6 p.m. on FS1. Seems like there are tickets available. I'm kind of curious to see how many people actually show up to the game besides Ms. Wanda and her friends and her family, her relatives. It's homecoming. I won't be there. Games on FS1. Longhorns at TCU. Games on ABC. Horns 8-1 overall. 5-1 in Big 12 play. Getting close to wrapping up their final few games in the Big 12 football. TCU 4-5, 2-4 in conference. 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Iowa State wrapping it up. Iowa State 5-4, 0 overall, 4-2 in conference at BYU. The other Cougars are 5-4 and 2-4 in Big 12. Game is kicking off roughly at 9:15 on ESPN. SWAC. SWAC. Thrill if you're watching. Don't worry, I got TSU on the next slide. Don't worry. November 10th, Grambling at Pine Bluff. Arkansas Pine Bluff. 0-6 overall. 0-6 in SWAC. 1-8 overall. Game on ESPNU. 8 o'clock Central. Friday. Saturday. Alabama A&M. 4-5 overall. 2-4 in conference at Bethune-Cookman. 2-7. 1-5 in SWAC. Noon on HBCU Go. Alabama State. My dark horse. They've won 4 straight. They're 4-2 in SWAC at Mississippi Valley. Valley 1-8, 1-5 in SWAC. Bless their hearts. 2 o'clock kickoff. Prairie View at Southern. Both teams 4-2 in SWAC. 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Lincoln with NAIA school at the best team in the SWAC, Florida A&M. Should be a beatdown. Rattlers 8-1, overall 7 undefeated in the SWAC. 5 o'clock on Rattlers Plus. Yes, Rattlers Plus. And also on the SWAC Digital Network. Yes, the SWAC has that too, y'all. But because of the Dynamo playoffs, TSU's game was rescheduled from the 11th to the 12th. So Sunday at 2, Alcorn State facing TSU. Alcorn 6-3, overall 5-1 in the SWAC. TSU is not 5-1 in the SWAC. TSU is 1-5 in SWAC play, 2-7 overall. And one of those 2 wins was against an NAIA school or a Division 3, 4, whatever school. I mean, this wasn't great. So, hey. But TSU had a good effort last week. Had a chance to tie it, force overtime. I think they lost by 2, 21-19. But there you go with the SWAC and the football roundup right there. Going to take a quick break and be back and let everybody know who I'm a part of, what I'm a part of with the BS3 TV, the BS3 family. Oh, let's see. I got to play one of the original promos, about 90 seconds long. And then come back. We'll talk some Rockets and more sports. So be back in 90 seconds. You're watching the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku via the BS3 Network.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku via BS3 Network, and of course on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Fire TV, Musk. We're out there. We take advantage of the platforms, technology, bring you content. Thank you to AJ and Ben for allowing me to do this live with the family. Tran is back. Welcome. You missed me talking about Chase McCarty, making it official. Signing with the Coogs. 6'6", 200 pounds. Chase chose the Coogs over Tennessee and Missouri and a few others. Yes, Marcus Sasser is doing big things with the Pistons. Had a chance to beat the Bucks last night and couldn't get it done down the stretch. Well, Marcus, I think, scored a career high 26 points after scoring, I think, 24 points the previous game. Detroit, they're making just enough mistakes to lose. That's what young teams do. They're making too many mistakes. Cade Cunningham is a turnover machine. Cade Cunningham, my goodness, man, 5, 6, 7 turnovers a game. Young fella, you got to be better than that. Come on. Turnovers, injuries. There were like 7 guys. 7 of their core guys are hurt. Hey, no one feels sorry for you. Part of basketball. But talking about the Coogs, talking about Chase McCarty, Miss Wanda Tran, Tony M. Got this note, make it official, putting it out there for everybody to share. Knew about it since Friday, last Friday, Thursday. It was re-verified today. Juwan Roberts has his COVID year remaining, so he can come back next season. And just about every current Coug vet on this year's roster has their COVID year remaining. So they can all be back next year. All of them. Juwan, Jamal, Damian Dunn, LJ Cryer. They could all come back next year. So they all have their COVID year. Just keep that in mind. Yes, Juwan Roberts has his COVID year. He redshirted, but he still has his COVID year to use if he desires. Most people expect Jamal Shead to go pro, but I'm just saying, if he chose, he could come back for another year because of his COVID year. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Also, if you hear or wonder about certain recruits opting not to come to Houston, especially upfront recruits. Why didn't he? I thought he was a lot to come here. Well, if he thought or requested, desired, heck, implied, I expect to start as a freshman. Oh, and excuse me, and you are who? You expect to start here? Do you see what we have coming back? And you want to do what? Thank you. Bless your heart, young man. Bless your heart. Okay, good for you. You can go somewhere else. Good luck to you. Okay, but please, come on now. So that does happen. There are high school people, young men and young women, who believe their skill set is so good, they're so good, their stuff don't stink so much that they can come in and tell a coach, oh, I expect to start as a freshman. Okay. There are some coaching staffs, especially experienced ones, who would say, thank you very much, goodbye. Keep in touch if you decide to transfer. We'll consider you in the future. Bye-bye. But yes, that does still happen. Trust me on that one. Okay? Touched on it. Rockets have won 4 in a row. Last night, they just obliterated the Lakers. LeBron played through the third quarter. Sat on the fourth quarter because it wasn't, what was the point? Rockets led by 18 points, at least 18 points the last 30 minutes of the basketball game. At least 18 points the last 30 minutes of the basketball game. Think about that. Let me see if I can pull this up. Comments from Darvin Ham, Laker head coach Darvin Ham, about the Rockets and what he had to say specifically about Alperen Şengün and Jalen Green.
I mean, they're a young athletic team. And like I said, adding Fred, adding Jeff, those guys, like I said, adding Fred, adding Jeff, those guys, Şengün is a hell of a player. Jalen Green, hell of a young player. These guys, Jabari Smith, Jayshawn Tate, man, is just a young bull. Like he just a Swiss Army knife and just like a bowling ball. He's tough, plays a tough brand of defense, as well as Dylan Brooks. So, and those guys have been, the veterans they've added, they've been champions on deep playoff runs and what have you. But I just think their collective discipline that Ime is instilling, he's doing a hell of a job thus far. And, the veteran leadership you're seeing, they're talking these guys through on how to be smart. And, again, they make up a lot of ground. They're a young, fast, athletic ball club.
There you go. From an opposing coach, his thoughts on your Houston Rockets. Rockets have won 4 straight. The Pelicans are up next Friday. The Rockets' first game, part of the NBA in-season tournament, Friday at 7. That'll be game 6 of the Rockets' 7-game homestand. 7-game homestand. They'll close it out on Sunday against Denver. Will knows, Rockets, Denver, 6 p.m. Just putting it out there for you. So, man, unless you want to go solo on FTS, might be pushing back again. But we're looking for a sponsor for Folks Talking Sports. Also, into advertising for the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. And Brother Gibson, thank you for chiming in. This is Will Knows right here. Will Knows Sports right there. Brother Gibson, you see it? See I'm official? See me got the collar? See you got the BS3? See it right there? See? I'm official. Official part of the family. Will Knows, referencing the Buckeye, talking about Jayshawn Tate, who Coach Darvin Ham spoke very highly of. We'll see CJ Stroud was in the building last night, taking part in Rockets' first shot. The one free throw before the game. His free throw rolled out. But he was in the building as well. And of course, LeBron James is a huge Ohio State Buckeyes fan. So giving love to CJ Stroud. He was kind of disrespectful to Jayshawn Tate on some of Jayshawn's threes. LeBron was like, Jayshawn, I'm not going to guard you out there. That's 10 feet away. You can't make that shot. And Jayshawn, swish. Oh, okay. I see you can make one. But hey, Rockets have won 4 in a row. Rocket fans are happy. After the 0-3 start, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What's going on? Oh, no. This team making all kinds of mistakes. It just doesn't fit. I'd won 4 straight. We're going to the playoffs now, man. We're playoffs, man. Bring on the Nuggets. Bring on the Warriors. Hang with everybody. Okay. As Tony M said, I know he's not representing this, or maybe he is. I don't know, Tony. Tony's saying this. Who's next? Who's next? But the Rockets are playing well. Defense looking good. I'm all about defense. And speaking of that, let me see. I asked Cougar head coach Kelvin Sampson. His answer is unique. Okay? Let me see if I can find the clip. Let's see. All right. I asked Coach Sampson who were his mentors when it comes to defense and getting, in his mind, how important defense is. Check this out. Your biggest influences, coaching-wise, to develop your defensive mindset and the importance of defense?
Nobody influenced me on defense. Just accumulation of how I want my defense to look. I think if you close your eyes and look in the back of your eyelids and you really, really think about what do I want my team to look like, it would be what we're doing right now. I've learned from a lot of people. I think my first day with the San Antonio Spurs was an eye-opener because Mike Budenhauser was out there doing a scout report on the game that night when I walked into the Spurs practice facility. And he was going over pick and roll coverages that I'd never seen before. And that's when I realized if I was smart enough to coach in this league, because how much smarter all those guys were than I was. But I learned a lot from different people, like offensively, Stan Van Gundy had some influence, Doc Rivers and ATOs. I learned a lot from NBA coaches, Ralph Miller at Oregon State, my early years, running that 1-4, Gary Colson, God rest his soul, both of them. They're both passed away now, but hours and hours I sat in those bleachers at different gyms in the summer, picking Gary Colson's mind about the 1-4. Coach Miller at Oregon State. So, I got ideas from different people. I'm not sure defensively. I think other people helped me become a better offensive coach. I think defense, just for me, is trial and error. I think defense is the one area where you have to be comfortable coaching your way. You can't be someone else on defense, because if you are, you're going to at best be second best, because you're going to try to be like him. Our defense is our defense. That's what I teach, what I believe in, but I'm very adaptable and it's very flexible. So how we defend this team is not necessarily how we'll defend that team. But it's fun to me. I think that's the hardest thing to teach in basketball, is to be really good in the half court. That's difficult. Offense is spacing and talent. Sometimes the best offenses are the most simple. A lot of, with Marcus Sasser, we play give and go a lot. Give it to Marcus and go to hell, just get out of his way, let him do his thing. It's pretty good offense a lot of nights. I was watching good friend of mine coaches the Timberwolves, Kris, who I worked with for 3 years here with the Rockets. He's the head coach. He's got Anthony Edwards. Ain't tricking nobody with their offense. I think he had about 40 the other night against the Celtics. Go look at those clips and see what offense they were running. Throw it to Anthony shoot it and score it and get back on defense. Nothing tricky. But on defense, though, it's an accumulation of actions that you've got to be able to guard. And I think you do have to have better chemistry on defense than you do offense.
Houston Cougars head coach Kelvin Sampson answered my question about who influenced him on defense, the importance of defense. Question for Tran. Oops, wrong one. He left on good terms. He went home for COVID and heard folks and decided not to come back. Let's leave it at that. Not much to add about that. But hey, the Cougs men's basketball, game number 2 of this season, this Saturday, 12:30 p.m. at home against A&M Corpus Christi. Then later on that evening, football team hosts the Cincinnati Bearcats, 6 p.m. at TDECU Stadium. Tickets are available for as low as, one site says as low as $1. Another says as low as $2. Lower level 1, $4 tickets. Lower level, 2 levels to the stadium. Lower level, I think in the corners, for as little as $4 for homecoming. For the Houston Cougars homecoming football game. 6 p.m. versus the Cincinnati Bearcats. Cougs are favored by 2. 2. Just 2. Cougs 4-5 overall. 2-4 in the Big 12. Bearcats winless. 0-6 in the Big 12. Cougs are favored by just 2 points. Houston -2. Think about that. So add all that up. Coming off impressive win over Baylor, I guess. Baylor's not very good. Their offense is very pedestrian. Their defense, I think the Cougs are better than Baylor this year and better than Baylor next year based on who Baylor hires as their next head coach. I don't believe the Cougs under Dana Holgorsen are better than K-State next year, better than Oklahoma State next year, better than Utah next year. Arizona got some budget decisions to make based on some, strange, funny math going on over there. Where what is it, more than $240 million error, something like that going on in Arizona? But the Cougs, at best, they're middle of the pack in Big 12 play, at best, under Dana Holgorsen. We can discuss these last few minutes. Coach Holgorsen's high school recruiting for football, class 24, not very good. He's placing more emphasis on the portal, getting transfers. He's had probably more success with that, getting guys to come back to town, come back home, than he has on the high school circuit. We'll see how that plays out. But as Trey noted, I said it earlier in the show. It's a great call by Coach, going for 2, going for the win. And Dave Aranda, a supposed defensive head coach, had no clue how to defend that play. The Coogs lined up, going for 2 to win the game in a spread set, spread formation, empty backfield. Baylor called timeout. I'm not sure what they discussed. Because after the timeout, the Cougs stayed in it. Still spread out. 5 wide, empty backfield. Baylor had no one in the middle of the field in the end zone. No one. Donovan Smith got the snap and strolled right up the middle of the line. Got 2 points. Waved goodbye to the fans, the Baylor fans. And the Cougs left with the dub, 25-24. Even though the Baylor special media department, communications folks, turned off theirs. I don't know what happened there. But if you saw ESPN, if you saw some of the sports news tickers for a while Saturday, they were reporting or posting on their websites that the Cougs had lost to Baylor and were 3-6 rather than 4-5 because of the snafu with Baylor's stats. Baylor's stats had Baylor winning 24-17 after the Bears scored their touchdown in overtime. Baylor had the ball first. They scored. Somebody at Baylor thought the game was over. So they sent out that score, as the final score to the stat, to ESPN, AP, etc. The Cougs won the game. Minutes later, the Cougs won the game, but there was no update to Baylor's stats for hours. But whatever. Tony M. Pray for Wimby. Now pray for Dana retiring. We know he's not retiring. Alas, he's not going to retire. He'll be back. He's putting up good numbers. He needs help. As y'all can see, it's hard to win by yourself. Team defense it's team defense. Individual defense is one thing, but individual in basketball, you still got 4 other dudes on the floor to contend with. You cannot guard everybody. But I digress on that. Reminder again, if you missed it earlier in the show, Houston Cougars men's basketball announced they have signed 6'6" guard Chase McCarty, 6'6", 200 guard Chase McCarty. The Rice Owls announced that they have signed men's hoops Anthony Batson from Arizona, 6'3" guard. And Rice women's hoops signed 2. Tran, you'll love this one. You'll love this note right here. Not really, I'm being sarcastic. Jill Tweehouse from Oklahoma. But Tran, Anaya Alexis from Cypress Lakes, 4-star recruit, 6'1" guard. Her final 2 choices were Rice and Houston. Tran, you see, she chose Rice. So the final minutes, before I close it out with Miss Sybil Wilkes, final minutes. And UH men's basketball should have another announcement, make it official with Mercy Miller. I guess today or tomorrow, but he's a Coug. That's not going to change. Not sure about women's hoops, UH women's hoops. I'll find out later today, or I'll be at the game Friday and ask about if they have any announcements, signing announcements for tonight, for the season, for this period. But Anaya Alexis chose Rice for the academics. Great academic school, no question. The American Athletic Conference over Houston and the Big 12. Shake your head on that a little bit. Salute to her. I think she's coming off a knee injury almost maybe a year and change ago. So some folks stopped recruiting her, but she's a 4-star recruit. She's a big time get for Coach Edmonds, Coach Grant, and the coaches at Rice. Big time get for that program. All district last year for Side Lakes, 17-11 average, 17 points, 11 boards per game last year. Her first game this season, She put up 36 and 12, I think, were the numbers, 36 and 12. So Rice got a good one with her. So we'll see how it all plays out with her. I know U.S. women's basketball is in the running for some players. We'll see if they get them. See if Coach Huey's able to seal the deal and get them. One of them has ties with Lamar. Her dad, Omar Sneed, is an assistant coach at Lamar. Omar Sneed. Oh, my goodness, I'm old. But anyway, thank you to Miss Wanda. Thank you to Tran. Thank you to Tony M. Everybody. Thank you to Ben and AJ, of course, for letting me have this hour with you on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, Fire TV, YouTube, and of course on Roku via BS3 TV, BS3 Network. And if you're new to it, Houston Roundball Review been around since 1994. It's a long time. The Houston Roundball Review. Will knows it. Will, thank you as well for your comments. The Houston Roundball Review. Local name. Global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Thursday, November 9th, 2023. Number 1, the U.S. House voted this week to censure Democratic Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Members of both parties condemned the rhetoric of the Michigan representative regarding the Israeli-Hamas war. The only Palestinian American and one of only 3 Muslim Americans in the House of Representatives was punished for using a phrase used by Hamas that Jewish groups view as a call to destroy Israel. Number 2, in a surprising and thought-provoking turn of events, former President Barack Obama weighed in on the Israel-Hamas conflict during a recent interview on Pod Save America, hosted by his former aides. The conversation shed light on the complexities of the long-standing conflict and emphasized the need to acknowledge the shared responsibility that the world bears for the ongoing violence. You have to admit that nobody's hands are clean, that all of us are complicit to some degree, Obama said, referencing the ongoing conflict between Palestine and Israel. Number 3, adult children who have one parent with dementia and the other as the caregiver should consider what is in the best interest of each parent when planning events. For example, while children might long to visit their parents with their families on one special day for the sake of tradition, that might be the last thing the caregiver desires. Structure and routine are important for a person with dementia, and sometimes it's best for the loved one to stay at home and receive visits of 30 minutes or less from a small number of guests stretched out over a period of days. Number 4, Chicago CBS News analyzed 20 years of crime data connected to every crime victim in the city and found that 1 in 3 victims is a black woman, which is equivalent to 33% of all crime victims. Alderperson Gilbert Villegas of Chicago's 36th Ward is now looking into creating a task force to study the effect of crime on black women in Chicago and will open the task force discussions to the public. Once members of the task force are gathered, the alderman said the real work can begin. Number 5, the youth mental health crisis has been increasing over the last few decades, and experts now point to a potential factor, a lack in play in general and an independent playtime. Among the many contributing factors is that children are less likely to walk to school with friends, less likely to play at school as recess gets shorter and children spend more leisure time on screens, often saying they prefer electronic games to playing outside. In fact, the average daily recess time in elementary schools in 2016 was only 26.9 minutes, with some schools offering no recess at all. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Sleep is so important. Did you know, for example, that adequate sleep helps reduce inflammation in the body, which is a factor in heart disease? Join me today, live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, with our mental health and wellness contributor, Aprilette Russell, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. Barbara Scotia College and HBCU in Concord, North Carolina needs our help. The What You Need to Know team is asking supporters, alumni, and friends of Barbara Scotia to help them meet their immediate and pressing needs by donating to help Barbara Scotia rise. Please join the donors from around the world who are stepping up to save one of the nation's oldest HBCUs. Please visit SibylWilkes.com for more information. And check out a celebration of Black filmmakers rooted in the HBCU culture. It starts tomorrow, November 10th through the 12th at Howard University's Blackburn Center. I'm Sibyl Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.